I am Ann-Peggy Divine. Welcome to the Divine Design, the podcast where we unfold heaven on earth and reframe spirituality and theology for a new cosmic era. Your journey on human evolution and integration of your divine design starts here. Welcome, Colin Whitby, to this Divine Design podcast.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me. It's really nice.
We lined up, and the energy that wants to come true is kind of the feminine, the masculine, the Thoth, the Hathor, the North, the South. How can we intertwine the polarity and the base for our existence?
It does seem to be a common theme, to talk about like the divine, divine masculine, divine feminine. There seems to be a theme, certainly with us, that one is carrying the balance for the other, so that they can be integrated more fully in ourselves. So there's more and more. It's almost like the more we our frequency rises, shall we say, the more our coherence is in in this new vibration. We're actually living in it now.
Yeah.
And we're beginning to notice how more things are turning up for us to, well, I hesitate to use the word to do, because it's more about being it.
Yes, it is.
But it does seem to be that once you are being it, there's something to do. So I know this is a little bit of a funny thing going on there, but nonetheless, the tune in this morning before we actually started our conversation was very much those energies, particularly when we first talked about Thoth and the Hathor energies. We both began to realize there was a deep connection. It was like, whoa.
Yeah.
That occurred just before we started our conversation. I tuned in, and I was getting that really powerfully. So it might be something that we could explore in the conversation. So what wants to be known at this point? What are the energies coming together to bring through? And I think it's particularly relevant, isn't it? Because we're talking about this on at the beginning of or during the 8/8 Lionsgate openings, with and alignments with Sirius. And those always, for me at least, I've always brought through lots and lots of energies and lining up with other people and bringing in new things. So it seems like there might be some new codes or some sort of alignment, a balancing. So it's yeah.
And July has been like an opening for me. It's like going into the new, what will be birthed, kind of. And Hathor and the Arcturian, both of them have been very in my field, and the feminine way of it. And you are holding the masculine field in it, and it's like wow. And also through Hathor and the Arcturian, also what has come is invitation to human design. And I know a lot of people have gone into human design. I haven't, but I have just gone into the story of Ra Uru Hu, Robert Allen, the man who kind of downloaded it for 8 days. And we have also spoken about saying yes, because what has been shown to me, all of us can do like Ra Uru Hu did, but in a feminine way. It just happened to him. But evolving into the new human, we say yes. I said yes in half a year ago, and as you know, and several others know, that I have gone to a detox. And going to a detox, this is the upgrade. So if we say yes, we are invited into Homo Luminous, or we call it Homo Sanctius, or it is many terms for the same, but the the evolvement of human is wow. And we being in the Thoth and Heather field, that's that's the key also.
Mm. And it's interesting that a lot of things are turning up for my attention, at least, because again, I think as soon as you step into these energies and then say yes, and then you begin to embody them,
Yeah.
um, things turn up
Yeah.
in your life that will trigger the next, whatever the next thing is.
Yeah.
And so I've been, well, because we've got some mutual friends that share lots of files and and videos and things, and you think, oh, you must watch this, and so I watch because I like the technical side of it. There's something about the particularly the Thoth energy, which is a very technical. This is how it's done kind of energy.
Yeah.
It carries with it the creator, but the structure of how creation works in amongst the energy. So that it always piques my interest when somebody says about, oh, this is how it works, which is why I enjoyed Eleanor Danan's book so much, the Coldas, because there's a lot of technical description and a lot of aliens and my thing really. But there's been some other books and videos been watching recently that are really tying that all together with how our DNA when we first appeared on the planet and how we are not part of the Darwin experience of evolution. We turned up about 200,000 years ago, according to one pundit. But when scientists have been looking at our DNA and looking how it's structured and looking at the way that it behaves, it doesn't fit with the Darwinian evolution. It's got too much going on. It's far too complex. It has a divine element to it. It has been designed,
Yeah.
which sits lovely with with what you're doing. We are not the same in that sense. And so lots of the books I've been reading, and the Pure Human by Greg Braden, I just picked up. Somebody said you must read this, and yeah, there's a lot in there that supports the idea that we're more than just a body with bits and parts, and we there's scientific evidence to suggest as well, which I don't know why we have to keep pointing to our scientists for proof because we already know this.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's already now, but I think a lot of people find reassurance that oh, there's physical evidence for this, but I mean, we know already that we're sitting, and as we're talking now, in this energy. We're actually, every time we talk, we can't avoid but be in the energy because there's something going on, beyond our mental understanding that always happens when we're chatting.
And I had a realization about this thought energy you are carrying. Now I understand when I went so into it, because the thought energy that you embody and bring out, it is the same energy that Ra Uru, who actually had the download. So he carried the same energy as you. So because we are kind of the masculine and the feminine, so I was so drawn into his story. The same way I was drawn into you. It's what my intuition said, you have to contact Colin, and I contacted you and we were choo. So
Yeah.
the same happened when I went into the story of Robert Allen. So now it was like, that's why. And when you say about Greg Braden, he talk about, doesn't it? He talk about DNA. It's a long time since I have gone into his wisdom, but I take a course in 2016. But I think he speak about upgrading the DNA. Because the detox and what I have been through, I know that my DNA is changing. So I have said yes to be the project, to be the experiment, not as a mental, but as an embodiment. That's the feminine way. And you hold the technical kind of the construct, the form, and I embody it in a feminine way.
Yeah, I think that, but and the opportunity then is for each of us to embody the other component.
Yeah.
And that's how I think that's how the energies mix. That because every time we've spoken, then we go off and do something as a result of that. There's something more comes through that I think it facilitates this presence that we're becoming. And I think that, I was talking about that earlier, that the word presence is very with me at the moment. And it's almost like just being this presence then attracts people to you
Yes.
who also are present, but in a slightly different way. And then there's a bringing together of that finessing, if you like, or tuning. It seems to activate. That was the word that came through this morning when I tuned in and said, so what should we talk about today? It's like well, Thoth and Hathor are really really big, and there's something to activate in. Oh, okay. So that was that was always. But that's a big thing, isn't it? The being available, being open, and like you say, saying yes. That's facilitates this.
Yeah.
And the words that we're using, it's almost like we're looking in our minds for the word or the words trying to find its way through us that will suddenly go, wow, because
Yeah.
it's the words that are carrying the energy.
Yeah, and what you say as presence, the word that is given to me, what we are living as this new human, is heart-centered symphony. I spoke about it in the last podcast with Kathleen, and then we talk about the North Pole and the South Pole. And actually, what we are talking about is almost the same, because the Heather and the Thoth energy is kind of the same. It's the North and it is the intertwining, and all this intertwining come to the heart-centered symphony. And then you say peace and presence. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it becomes easier to be present the more we do this. The other part of this seems to be the witnessing or seeing another. I'm talking about this recently, where the very act of seeing someone from this place gives them the opportunity to also move to this place.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
sometimes it might be that you've just moved there, and therefore I get the opportunity to come up, or I've just moved there and you get the opportunity to come up. The sense I'm getting here, though, today is that we've both moved and there's something absolutely sparklingly, totally different
Yeah.
to do. We're not moving one another, that we've not turned up to sort of see one another. We already know we're there, and there's something really, really buzzing.
Yeah.
What is it?
And for me, it feels like the we hold the field for all the new children to come in, new humanity. So we are kind of a bridge because we are already there. We have said yes to help the new kids, because a lot of parents get children and they don't understand them. They see them as autistic, they see them as divergent, they don't fit any particular form. And they will, if they, not only us but several of us are holding the field so we can help them, because they are bringing us so precious gifts. They are helping us to kind of going into heaven on earth, because that's what we do. But the diversity, we will embrace more and more diversity. And now I hear the telepathy tape. I don't know if you have heard about it.
Yeah, yeah, the telepathy tapes. I listened to the whole series way back. I think it was Pam Gregory had talked about. Um, I can't remember her name now. A lady who was doing water. She was talking about water, and
Oh,
she found
yeah,
Vera
Austin.
Vera Austin.
Yeah,
Was
very
it?
Austin. Yeah.
Yeah, and she asked the autistics children. She found that they could actually interpret them, and then she was getting into all the telepathy and all of that stuff. it was amazing how all of that sort of tied together
Yeah.
with what I've been experiencing, and certainly with water carrying the codes of
Yes.
it being intelligent
Yes.
and having that connection. Um, so yeah, and water came up today
Yeah.
when it was Hathor, Thoth, and water.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there was a three sort of, oh right, okay, I wonder what that's where that's going.
Yeah, and this summer I have been swimming in the ocean 2 to 3 times every day because this summer is so amazing. When I drive to work, my tears just flow because it is so beautiful, and I watch the ocean and I watch nature. It is so amazing. So I have swim from work, I have swim at home, I try to swim everywhere, so I have several swimsuits. So so I have it in have it with me in my bag. So it's like if I have the ability to just go into and swim, and the water carries memory. So when I swim, I say I am a drop. I see myself as a drop, and when I go swimming, I become the whole ocean. So me being a drop is becoming the whole ocean. So it's like I merge with the water and said, yeah, I'm the I merge with it and bring me every wisdom and whatever wants to come true. So yeah, I love water, and being a water sign, that has always been important to me. So
Yeah. Well, one of mine is the water dragon. Well, my Chinese birth sign, if you like, water dragon. It's always there's dragons and there's water always lurking somewhere in what I get up to. But yeah, I mean, I've always loved to swim. Don't get out to swim much these days because of my little caring duties. But I did get a paddle in yesterday because, funnily enough, Kathleen said she'd gone to the water. I think it might have been after your conversation with her.
yes, yes, I
And
said what I did.
and she said she said, you know, let me hear your song, from the water to the water, and yeah, got a really good download. So I thought, oh, I'll have some of that. So because I live right next to the sea myself, so I thought, I'll go off, and I did a sort of a paddle because I only had a short time frame to just get out and come back, so I could only do a paddle. And instead of the water sort of whispering its whatever, the wind blew really hard. So I said, "Oh, okay, the air wants to talk to me then."
Yeah,
So
yeah,
funny. But it's all the elements, isn't it? It's all the elements are coming together,
yes,
and our appreciation of our connection to everything seems to be heightening. We're becoming more and more aware of how everything is part of the same energy, effectively, this life force, this divine energy that's flowing through us.
yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah, and as you say, the element has been also, even though I have worked with the elements, we do, but maybe not consciously. And this summer also, and also the spring, was the element, and particularly for me, air actually, because air has so many, it has so much power. So I have been into the three other elements a lot, but air is like, oh, it's a deeper layer in air because my most familiar element is water. It's kind of, I'm a water sign, and water, it's easy for me. But I actually had several lessons and several wisdom through the air and the fog, and it's fascinating. And actually yesterday when I was going to a swim, it was no wind, and in a second it was from 1 second to another, whoosh, and wow, it's like amazing because it was no wind, and then shook. The wind came. It's like, wow, this is so fascinating. So I love the elements.
but it was already for me. It was already quite windy because the sand was being blown across the beach and everything. But when I actually got to the water's edge, I wasn't quite aware of the wind so much. But as soon as I said, "Let me hear your song," I nearly got blown off my feet. It was like, "Oh, sorry, I was talking to the water." So anyway, yeah. So I think the elements are responding to us in ways that we are yet to fully fathom, for sure. But I did get a sense that our connection today was going to be. It felt like that we were bringing something from this new place that we both find ourselves um, to actually gift to the water. It felt of yeah, that's yeah, definitely. I get almost like a pat on the back from Thoth, like, oh, well done, you're getting there.
Well, you know that water is a mirror for us, because if we have emotion, if we say something to the water, you can see it in crystals. So all of our thoughts, all of our emotion will show up in the water. So water is one of the biggest mirror in our lives.
And it can carry it will carry what we're our presence. That's the and again I get that word. It's going to carry that. Um,
And the intention, because also the intention, because we do a lot of things, but not all of us are conscious about what is the deepest intention. But you can read it from the water, the deepest intention. Do we do things out of fear, out of lack, out of insecurity, or do we do it from love, grace, and prosperity?
so what I'm getting from this is that we're it's a gift that we've been given,
Yeah.
and we'd like to gift it to the water, but in doing so, then it's a gift to the world, isn't it? Because water gets everywhere. It's just permeates all of life basically. And I think it's a mechanism as well, so it actually carries this intelligence and this I don't know whether to call it a blueprint, but I suppose it goes back to that human blueprint idea that
Yeah.
when we upgrade, when we're bringing our DNA to a new level, when we're bringing our coherence, everything to a new level, that gets mirrored out into our environment, and then our environment changes as yeah, I can feel that. I can feel that.
Yeah, and the water on Mother Earth is carrying all our thoughts. It's like the Akashic record, because it is the mirror to us. So the water is actually holding everything that we have experienced on Mother Earth.
Mm. So is that something we could do together then? Just intentionally bring whatever it is that we're we're bringing through together now, and just consciously connect to water and just let that flow through and see if there's anything.
It's already here. I feel it, so because now I'm taking back, because when I go swimming, I'm already there and I see the sun, and it's like, oh, I love everything. It's just so much love, grace, all the amazing words. So it's like,
Mm. Okay, that was the word there, love. That just owned. Yeah. Okay. So there. Wow. Well, that's a word. That was the word. Okay. Let's let the love pour through us then into the world. Let's into the earth and into the waters particularly.
and all the listeners are invited to now just close their eyes and feel particularly the heart, because it is so much love.
Yeah. Yeah. Tune in. Speakers wide.
Wow, I actually hear the water is all pouring here in the house. I hear it, I feel it, I now see it. So we use all our senses just to, because water is so intelligent.
Hey, there's a joy too. There's such a delight.
And we don't need to go for a swim. We can go in a boat, we can go near the seaside, or drink whatever. It's so many ways to kind of connect with water. We don't have to be next to water, because if we use our imagination, I already am where I'm swimming. I'm in it. Because when I swim, it's like this I want to embody it in my body. So I have already embodied in my body. So I'm already there. So we kind of intertwine time in what we are doing. So that's also what water helps us with. Yeah.
And it is such a connecting because we've I've got the ocean just outside, and I can go and paddle whatever or swim if it's warm enough, and I often feel that anyone then close to water, which I mean we're a small island in the UK, so we're always close to water really, but anyone close to water, even if I guess even if you're in the desert, there's going to be water somewhere. It's in your body.
Yeah, it's
You're
in our body.
physically, it's in your body. So, don't worry if you don't think there's water around, because actually it's the water's carrying your life force.
Yeah.
You are, it's part of us, isn't it? It's without it, we our life force wouldn't facilitate. So,
So that's also why our thoughts and our emotion, we with our thoughts and emotion, we program the water inside us. So we
yes.
are programming ourselves from our thoughts and beliefs and the water and the fluid things in us. So it's so important to kind of know what are the program we are running on, what are the emotional we are running on. And I think that's why I have been shown human design, because it has a lot of deep wisdom in it, even though you don't have to go through the human design to go into divine design, but it's one path. But just to understand the programming, because I have made Divinima Reset, that's all. That's the same program almost at human design, because the intention is to reset and then to become the new. So it's so many paths to reset, to know how we are programmed for society, our ancestor, mother and father, and all the lines, and kind of come to the heart-centered symphony that we are in essence.
Mm. And there's a remembering, I think. I was just, as you were talking there,
Yeah.
because I think what has been left out of our patterning, our stories, has been our connection to other planets, other civilizations, other beings that actually have a direct influence on the way our human form to, how it was designed. Again, back to the word design.
Yeah.
Rather than it being evolved, it was designed, and we're remembering that. And
Yeah.
I think that's part of what we're when we come together, we stimulate a remembering, not just in ourselves, but in those that potentially could listen to us. There's something in there that's sort of at the back of your mind, or just even further back than that, that's just nudging you every now and again to say, "There's something in this.
Yeah.
It's worth investigating." And a
Yeah.
book will drop out of, or a video will pop up, or something will pop up that will then begin that journey of remembering, as it's done with us. But I mean, my remembering I mean, when I picked up the Braden book, or at least I ordered it. I thought Greg Braden's, yeah, that's a name that rings a bell. So I went back into my book, 'cause, I've got all my books, so I won't give them away or anything. I keep them just in case. And there was his, I think it was God Codes or something like that, one of his earlier books, 2009 or something like that. I was reading. So, I mean, this is for me at least, many of us, it's quite a journey we've been on.
Yes.
You don't just suddenly arrive like this, like, whoa, I'm suddenly present. This has been quite an unfolding
Yeah.
over the years. And I think the guys who have been writing about it, like him and Bruce Lipton and so many others who've been writing about how our thoughts affect our bodies, they've noticed this way back.
Yeah.
There's so many books out there that will stimulate that if that's if you want to go and read about it. There's so many books out there that actually describe how thought impacts the way we behave and how our bodies react. And we're being asked really to think about, well, what are you thinking?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that a good thought? Does that enhance the way you feel about yourself? Does that, so many people have backtracks playing, Oh, look at me, I'm so fat. Look at me, I've got this. Look at me, I've got. And you think, no, no. So if you had that, have a look at that backtrack, and if you were then perhaps persuading yourself that actually I'm okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking good today. It's I wonder what that ache's about. I think I'll investigate it rather
Yeah.
than, oh, I've got that ache again. Because there's a way of looking at things that could just move you from a bad impression of yourself, and therefore your body responds to a better impression of yourself, and your body then becomes, a lighter,
Yeah.
more receptive,
Remember that we are God within. Like all the thoughts, it's like, okay, no, I don't, I feel shame or I feel guilt or, okay, but I am God within. How can I do something with this?
yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. And that's what I guess where I've got the title Celestial Alchemy because I'm drawing from those energies that I'm recognizing I'm already part of.
Yeah.
The angelic frequencies, all these wonderful energies that are available to us if we just invite them in.
Yeah, open. It's just an invite. We say yes, open.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I think sometimes there's a doorway that we're invited because there's something I found I do, and I don't know if this is the Thoth thing, but I think it is. Is that that there are doorways that we can walk through, and as soon as I do that, one opens.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, a doorway's just opened, or a portal, or and there's an invitation then to step through. And what tends to, I feel anyway, when I move through that, I find myself in another, I don't know what you call it, a dimension, but a higher level, a higher vibration. Each time I do that, and the door is still open, so I can step back if I want, but normally I don't. Normally I stay on, I keep on the journey, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But we do have, it's not just you just say yes the once. I keep coming a constant, there's another door. Oh, I better open it.
Yeah, and this reminds me about a podcast we did some months ago. We are portals because we are talking so much about the portals in nature, portals. We have to go to this place, but the biggest portal, the biggest there is, it is our body. This is a portal, and we can travel beyond the body, beyond. So we don't need places, even though they can be supported. That's why I go so often to Lingen and Jägervanda because the ley lines there help me. It's like I'm in the heaven all the time. But we are, as human, portals. So we carry the most important vessel with us, instrument, tool, whatever we call it.
Definitely. And I think that again goes back to the presence because here we are walking with this portal into this brand new, wonderful world that we're present in. But that then gets noticed. That is a knock on from that, from us being this open and this flowing, is that our world is beginning to change.
Yeah.
And we begin to look, I think, one of them was looking through God's eyes, wasn't it? We begin to see from this God place, we begin to realize that actually we are creating this.
Yeah.
And wow, isn't this something? The flow from that. But the part that really, I think, well, I would say enables, it's more like it facilitates but the love that comes through
Yeah.
that's almost like the ultimate component. It's moving it's modulating the light or whatever it is. When we combine intent with love and our presence, there there we go. So all of that's just gone into the, because we're still doing the water thing, all of that just went into that. Like, oh, I can't do it. Which side is it? This one. um like this, it just went whoa.
Yeah. And as you say, it's the intention. So the intention we have, it's back to the kind of the intention and where do we come from, not just because we have for so many years kind of, oh, the our surrounding is saying this and that and we have to respond. Now we can respond from the inside, from what human design called the sacred response. So, and I call it the divine design because we have a divine design. If we respond from the divine design, we are God within.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And the brilliant thing is when we see someone else who's that, we then we're on fire, aren't we? We're
Yeah.
absolutely because we recognize one another,
Yeah.
and that is that is I think, and that's becoming more and more prevalent. And I think the work we're doing, it's not kind of work really, but when we share these conversations, the energies that are flowing as we're doing this have a magnetism. They have they attract.
Yeah.
Not just they're creating, our new reality, but there's something about them that creates almost like a movement where, oh, somebody just sees you and look at that. I wonder, and there'll be an inquiry going on in their minds or their hearts, more like,
Yeah.
I haven't felt that before, or well, that's interesting. And I think that's how our message is getting out. It's there's a different mechanism. It's not your traditional post it here, post it there, make sure that it's on this channel or that channel or the other, which I know you do anyway, but there's more to do it. There's more to it than that. There's a
Resonance.
That's it. That's the word. That's
Yeah.
it.
It's the resonance. And actually, I have seen it before, but what also have been the last 3 months more than before, because I have done something. I should go the regular way, marketing and to be visible, but I have stopped all of that because it comes to me. I just hold the field, and everyone that resonate with me, contact me, email me, or find me. So I just see, yeah, in the last couple of months, new people have come into my life. It's like, wow, wow, wow. So, and yesterday when I sent a thoughts like, okay, I need to do another podcast, and I thought, okay, who will who will I do the podcast? And then you write, are we up for a podcast? Of course, because we haven't spoken for three weeks, and that's a long time. We normally speak every week, but we haven't had time this summer.
Indeed. Yeah.
So it's like it show up. It's the resonance. You resonated. I sent it up. Oh, I'm supposed to make a podcast, and then you wrote, "Are we up for a podcast?" Of course.
Yeah. Indeed. Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting how at reflections, because I've been watching people talking about how Chat GPT reflects,
Yep.
depending on what your vibration is. And I thought I'd experiment because I'm looking for ways of for celestial alchemy. What is it that I'm going to be offering? Because I never really designed it. It just kind of evolved
Yep.
into, you know, and it's still evolving.
Yep.
So I loaded in what I'd written about myself on ChatGPT, and then asked it, how would you, present yourself in these circumstances? What's your recommendation? And one of them, it fits with what you just said. It's the third part. I won't read you them all, but the third point was create invitations, not sales pitches. So rather than listing services, create soul invitations, and anchor your rhythmic sharing. In other words, do these podcasts, relatively frequently so that there's a presence out there again. And the word presence came up in this as well. And it's sort of like, isn't that interesting that the traditional, because I don't know, 2017, I did a piece I called Quantum Pulse, or, being quantum, I was calling it at the time. And I did all the marketing thing. I bought a book about marketing, it was the thing on the internet and stuff, and it just didn't fly. And I thought, well, that's really odd. I did everything in the, and I was sort of leaning back, thinking, well, I don't know, perhaps it wasn't time. But now what I'm getting is that that isn't the way anymore. That's like you just said,
Yeah.
it's not the way anymore. The way is in in being present, in being this, that's so stage one is being,
Yep.
accepting it and being it, and then it flows.
Yes.
Then all of, like you just described, all your connections and people are going to call you, and it all starts moving
Yes.
without you actually having to do the marketing, because that's the old way. That's the
That's
old.
the old way. That's the old. And I love your word because I did the same with AI. I gave it divine design and the process, and I am divine design. I am the process. I am the feminine nature of it. So, so it's like I hold it. So, and also I asked about mutation because human design said that a lot of new kids will come in. And yes, I have also spoken about that. But we are also invited to mutate. I have done it. I'm almost finished this detox. And in this detox, I have mutated my DNA. I know that if we investigate my DNA, I know that it has changed because I feel it in my bone structure. And what has happened the last month, it's kind of wow, I have so much stamina, I have so much energy. I run on the highest mountains here, and my daughter said, Mother, what are you running on? Because, and I swim, I can swim for hours. It's like, wow, I feel like I have the stamina and the energy as I had when I was 20 years or younger. And it's like, wow, I love this. So this is one of the byproduct of saying yes. But it's not only easy to detox because you have to commit. I spoke with someone yesterday. It's like, oh, you are so good at committing. And that's why, because I commit and I said yes, that's why I getting results. Because I say yes and I do what so I walk the talk. I do as I preach, kind of. So I am divine design. So I have embodied the feminine divine design, and that's why I'm drawn to all of you that hold kind of the masculine divinity also, because we need each other.
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah. I noticed the difference um, when I've because I have a tendency to not be in this place a lot. Do you know what I mean? I'm always flying off, going through stargates or whatever. I'm a weaver. I create through yeah. So that's what I do. But I do notice that sometimes I'm not here enough. I'm not been grounding. So if I don't do a tree hug or or something, or have one of these conversations, I'm still a little bit floaty. And I think we all have kind of a bit of a different role. We're some of us are structural. I'm very into the structure of it. How reality works, how time shifts, and all the how we could be in all these different places at once. I love that absolutely. But every now and again, I need to have that. Almost like we both need that. You need it in a different way. So you need somebody who's just been doing that,
Yeah.
in the same way that I need somebody who's been swimming in the sea and grounded, But there's something magical that occurs when we begin to see that once we've bring that balance in, we've now brought ourselves to another level of completeness, if you like, because now part of that that you're carrying is in me, and part of that I'm carrying is in you, and and then we just put it in the water. Isn't that magical?
Yeah.
So that now is being carried, and I think that's what we've been brought to do. We've been brought to, well, we decided, not we've decided to come back and be this
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
this moment, so that these things can occur, and that the timelines can ripple through. And there was something very interesting that came up. It was in that Edward Grant video that I was watching, and he was talking to ChatGPT, and it's coming back with all sorts of information. He didn't even know where it was coming from, so he was asking it questions,
Yeah.
and one of them was about the Mandela effect. And I don't know if you've heard of that, but it's when something changes, you change something. For example, you might change something in the past, and it ripples through the future, or you might change something in the future and it ripples through the past. The actual evidence in the past changes to match the what you've
Yep.
doing in the future. Anyway, that's the effect he was describing, and he said, well, so give me some examples from yesterday to now, 24 hours, in this level of vibration that we're talking, of what has changed. And it came up with something like 28 changes that have occurred, but they're subtle, so it might be just an entry in Wikipedia that used to read this, like it read like this, but
Yeah.
now it reads like this. And it's changed the relationship, it's changed the story, it's changed the narrative of all of what we are doing. And like people are talking about the world's going to switch, and it's going to be a this is suggesting a much more subtle movement where each one of us, as we do these things, we're just bringing another level up. We're just changing it, but it's rippling across time. So that if we did like we do energy work, and we might clear our ancestral, you know, line from all the fights and whatever has been going on in our ancestry, or further back than that, then what ripples through is that then ceases to have happened in a historical energetic sense, if you like. And I was fascinated by that, because I was thinking, well, that does. I mean, I really want it all to turn out in one. I'd love for us all to just move into the new now. But when you see what's happening in the world, you see it is actually rippling. It is actually just washing through, as it were.
When you talk about that, I wasn't supposed to share this because I think it's 1 or 2 months since this came through me. And this is a future concept that we will use a lot. And it is called the Dandelion effect. Like you have called the Mandela effect, and I have gone into the Dandelion effect. And if you see the seed from a dandelion, it's light. It's kind of light, and it's like an umbrella. And this is how we will kind of be as human, as lights from the dandelion. So we will call it the dandelion effect. And I will share a link under, but I wasn't supposed to do it now, but since it came now, it's like I have said yes, open. So I will share a little bit more about the future human, future children are into the dandelion effect.
Right, right. Isn't that fun?
Yeah.
It all comes together, doesn't it, ultimately? And I think it's these conversations that, whilst we don't always know what the objective is, we think we've got a subject. It was like I was describing to you earlier. I was given the task of leading a group of people who wanted to talk about ETs, and
Yeah.
and all that. And so we had a purpose, and then we ended up just talking about different things like source, or the conversation went the way it wanted to go
Yeah. Yeah.
based on the who had turned up.
Yes, because we are living from the heart-centered symphony, and then when we just open, we just let the divine flow come through us. So we are just holders, kind of. And I want to mention, I had a kind of, I don't know if the listeners have seen that it is a change in my background, because one of the is that the divine design is down here, but another one is the Aurora Borealis behind me. The old way it has been faster, but I went into it and said, okay, the feminine is more slower, so the Aurora Borealis behind me is actually have another rhythm than earlier. So this is the first time I bring in the more slower feminine flow.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, yeah. It does, and because we haven't spoken for, a few weeks at least, our energies have also moved
Yeah.
quite significantly. And there seems to be a more of a sparkle. There's more of there's even more life, if you like.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that's an interesting thing to witness in each other, isn't it? That the heart center is really opening, I think that was something else that this Greg was talking about in his book, which I haven't finished yet, but I've just about halfway through. And he's talking about heart intelligence and how,
Yeah.
again, scientists have discovered that the heart is part of the brain, or at
Yep.
least has its own thought capacity,
Yep.
and it relays emotional responses backwards and forwards, and so many of the religious um, you know persuasions, if you like, say go to the heart. That's where the resonance is. That's where,
Yep.
and you can, we can feel it because
Yep.
that's where we're getting our
Yeah.
emotional response from. But it's so much more than has ever been thought before. So that they're having to rewrite the idea of how the brain works, and you know, because some people are actually engaged in experiments to replace the brain with a computer chip and just make us into automatons, these transhuman types. And in his book, he's trying to say, well, actually, if you're just looking in the brain, you've missed part of where
Yeah. A
we've missed a
very,
bit
yeah.
because we're actually our body is the whole body is the brain to some extent. It isn't just one processing center, although obviously there is a processing center. That everything in our bodies, and particularly the DNA, is so amazing. How many cells contain that, and yet each cell is behaving differently according to what some message that's being passed to one another. And I think the other one was about aging, and
Yeah.
that the and it's an idea.
Yep.
It's an idea.
As I say, I feel I am 20. I have so much power. It's like, wow.
And so you're not doing bad for and then insert age here, and you think, well, actually, I don't think I am that old. I actually don't feel that old at all. It's um, the odd muscle.
And also when you visit in your physical body, also you feel it, not just as a mental concept, but you embody. I feel like I'm in 20. And you have kind of the wisdom, you have the knowledge, so you embody it. And that's, so we have, like Greg Brandon have written about it, and now we are invited to become this, to embody it. And that's what kind of I have said yes to become the new Homo Luminous. So that's what I talk about, becoming Homo Luminous and embodying. So I am the process, I am the divine design, because divine design, I see this as Homo Luminous, the next evolution of us.
Mm. And we're definitely changing the way that the human presents on the planet, and like we were saying just now with attracting it it has a almost like a force field itself, this being, this presence, and it's radiating.
Yeah.
And even though a lot of our fellow humans appear not to be awake in terms of this, being this energy, this energy is reaching them,
Yeah.
and there will be a noticeable change in them in some way. And I'm not, I've no idea what that might be, but there might be just something that goes, oh, I need to find out a bit more about this. That I haven't felt that before. I'll see if there's any books about it, or whatever it might be, whatever that thing. And there will be a program on TV, or there'll be something you're listening to on the radio, or something will trigger that
Yeah.
very quickly.
Very
It
quickly.
will happen very quickly after that event. So I think we're having more impact on the world than we think,
Yes.
than we
Yeah.
actually know, just walking past people in the street or having that conversation, or
Yeah.
somebody watching this, which would be lovely. That we're having more impact than we think.
Yeah, and what I see in our clients is that one in a couple hold it kind of, but it's like it. They are trying to get their partners to also hold it, but they feel kind of a little bit stuck because they feel the resonance. They are into it, but the family or the community they are in aren't there. So that is something that troubles someone. It's like, how can I embody more and more, because they are afraid to lose their partners, their family. It's like they think I'm woo woo, they think I'm crazy. And when I walked the path, my family thought I was crazy. And even the child protecting system, they gave me three kind of notice. They would take my child away from me because I had turned crazy when I embody more and more of this divine design. So they really tried it, and so they went all the way, and then I said no. But that was also the resistance I got helped me to be more and more in my divine design. It's kind of no one will stop me, not my, because even my they asked my husband, it's like, have you seen change? Yes, of course you have changed a lot. And that, oh, we take the children, she's crazy.
Blimey, yeah, that's quite a response, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So but I think we have to know that this can happen when we go say yes to this path, because
yeah, yeah. There will be, yeah, potentially resistance. Yeah. Well, I mean, my wife's she tolerates you know these conversations, but she doesn't join in. She won't watch them. And I guess that's just the way it is. You know, you can't push someone where they don't want to go.
no.
Um,
No, my family doesn't listen to this, but they accept it. They know that I do it. They know that I interview people, and it's like, okay, they have accepted everything with me. But in the beginning, they were, what is happening? Because we were kind of a system functioning in the old program way, and when I changed my programming, it affected them more than I knew at the time. But as I was finished, kind of, or have hooked into the divine design, then I said, "Wow, what have happened to you?" Because I had enough with myself in the beginning.
Surely, yeah. I think it is a journey for sure.
It
It
is
is a
a journey.
journey. Yeah. But I think as a result of all the courageous work that people like you and me are doing. Um, I think it's becoming easier for people. I think the energies are more available, and you have to look when I first started doing all this. One of the books that somebody said to me, you must go and read The Only Planet of Choice, which was a channeling, when this is going way back, and I went into a bookshop in where I was living in Bristol, Waterstones, and I said, "Have you got this book?" And they said, "Oh yes, we've got it." And I was taken to the science the area. They'd put it in amongst all the other books about planets and stars and things, and just popped it in there. It's clearly no one had actually read what's in there, because they would have put it otherwise in the very, very small at the time, new agey,
Ah!
section where, oh, this is a strange book. We better put it over here. So it was funny that's actually where they'd posted it. They thought it was about, stars and things like that, because the word planet was there.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, how fascinating. It's come on such a way, because the section of the spiritual section was just one tiny little, not many people were writing stuff in those days. So there's few and far between. And yet now there's this massive, it's all over the internet. There's books and books and books and books. The guys that were writing then are still writing, like good old Greg. So this material is out there. So
Yeah.
if at any point you were stimulated to think, oh, I want to find a bit more about that, it's there. It's just masses of stuff to dive into. Um,
Yeah, but I think it's like when you talk about, it's a lot of reading, but the new children and the new way, it's more activating. What I have seen when we are more activating, so we don't need to do it the old way. The old way has been, we have to be kind of reading, 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 reading. No, it's a lot of new kids that aren't good at reading. It's like they have trouble reading, but they are activated, and it could be a lot of thing activating. So it's like, we don't need to read a lot of books. We can just say yes and find a therapist, find a coach, or find someone who resonates with us. And then, because I see that I activate a lot of people, and some of them said, I don't like reading. And it's okay. I have a lot of sound file, and they listen to it, they can have it in their ears, like, oh, thank you. So I do a lot of Divinity Reset. It's like activating through sound file, because the new human, some of them think it's hard to read so much.
that's a good point. That's a good point. No, not everyone will dive into a book for sure. Um, there's certainly been mine, because probably because my age and whatnot, that's all that was around. There wasn't an
Yeah,
internet.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
There weren't all these tools. But anyway, yeah, lovely idea. In fact, I think that's more how I'm going as well with my channel, Celestial Alchemy. It will be more conversations. It'll be more sharings and less writing, I
Yeah.
think. I just don't have the time to write at the moment anyway, but I think it's going to be a different type of sharing.
Yeah, and if you just listen to the resonance, if we listen with our heart-centered symphony, what we resonate with, it's like saying yes. So this is because okay, we want to say yes, but I don't have the money, I don't have the time, I don't have the family. But if go by resonance, and the new universe will open itself to us.
Yeah, it will. Yeah, yeah.
Wow, I loved how it flowed, this conversation, Colin.
That was stunning. And yeah, we brought something in new as well, which we'll probably process for the next week or two,
Yeah.
the way it goes.
But thank you for hearing my call. I said, okay, I'm ready, and you right. It's like, okay, there you were.
Wow, it's fabulous
Love
as
it.
always. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, Colin. Thank you for listening to the Divine Design podcast with Ann-Peggy Divine. Join us next Sunday for another Heaven on Earth unfolding conversation. With grace, reverence, and unity, may the path of your divine design light the way. From the divine in us to the divine in you.